very much enjoyed my early college days on campus, being in a totally different environment from high school altogether. You're a young adult. You are able to make decisions for yourself rather than rely on your parents to make a decision for you. One day, I was walking across campus and encountered a crowd. When I looked upon who was speaking at the crowd, a homeboy, the late Alton White, who was a leader, a personality. He was speaking about going downtown and having a protest against the movie theaters and the department stores that would not allow the blacks to sit at the counter and have lunch while they shopped and spent their money. So we were encouraged to go downtown. That caused us to just cast our fate to the wind and march downtown, where we witnessed being on one side of the street and the police arrived and set up their perimeters. Then the whites grew a crowd on the opposite side of the street. We were told by the police officers to return to our campus. In turn, our leaders told them we would not return. We'd come here to exercise our rights. We were told that if we did not return, we would be arrested. So we were determined to continue our efforts to go down and make sure that our demands were met, that we be treated equally. Well, then the white crowd started throwing bricks and bottles at us. We had no defense for that. Then the officers started whipping with the billy clubs, throwing people in the paddy wagons. So pandemonium struck the crowd and we eventually ran back on campus. The very next day, we reorganized because we were told the stories of how the students were being treated in jail. We went downtown, surrounded the jail. We were told that if we did not disperse, we would be arrested. We responded by saying, "We come to be arrested." So then they opened up the doors and we marched into the jail cells, filled up the jails, took the keys away from the turnkeys. All HELL broke loose. They endured that for a night where we just continued to harass them. One of the deputies drew back with a billy club to strike me out of the multitude of people that was going into jail. And when I realized I was about to be hit, and I turned to him and I looked at him, I had no fear whatsoever of being struck with a billy club. I just stood there and waited for the blow. That officer withdrew his club and did not strike me. That was not because of any fear I put into him. That was the will of God. The very next day, they told us that we would get in a file of line and go outside of the jail, and we were placed on the back of the cattle trucks that would transport the cattle. We were taken to the state fair grounds where we were put into a large exposition hall that had no bedding, no facilities. We were given big pieces of cardboard to throw on the floor and sleep on. They placed armed shotgun guards outside the building. So finally, about 4 days of this, they told us that we would be going to court to face charges. When we reached the courthouse, the judge told us the charge was trespassing. We were on the street, on the sidewalk, singing "We Shall Overcome," but they deemed that as trespass. Told us we would have to pay the sum of $50 if we wanted to be let free and go back to our school. So Alton White told the judge, "We do not accept the bail, Your Honor. We're going to stay right here. Send us back to jail." The judge said, "Oh, hell no. I'm lowering the bail to $10 per person, and y'all get the hell out of my court." I felt that it was incumbent upon me to help some of the other kids who did not have the money or parents could not afford. So there were 2 or 3 others that I helped to get out of this situation we were in. That was my most vivid encounter of racism when I was my freshman year in college at Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, Florida.